50 million years ago, the dynasty of birds was firmly established. At that time, a great lake lay here in central Germany. It's long since dried out, and the layers of mud from its floor have turned into shales. Excavations, like the one that's going on here, have revealed just how varied the birds had become. This one has been set in yellow resin to make its details quite clear. It had a horny beak, a fully feathered wing, a long feathered tail with no bony support, and long legs. It probably looked like a rail. Dinohyus died out about 20 million years ago, but its teeth can tell us what it ate. At the back, it had massive, flat molars that could grind up almost any kind of vegetation. But it wasn't a specialized vegetarian, because the teeth at the front didn't have those sharp, chisel-like teeth that an antelope has. Neither was it a specialized meat-eater, because the teeth at its middle jaw are not the slicing, sharp, dagger-like teeth that a lion has. Nonetheless, these are pretty formidable. So are the big tusks at the front. In fact, what you have here is a generalized toolkit that enabled the animal to deal with almost anything. And here, weathering out near the top of this cliff, is the skull of one of the most dramatic of all dinosaurs, Triceratops, the three-horned dinosaur. Here's one horn, here's the second horn here, which is already weathered away, and its nose is pointing that way so that its third horn on the tip of the nose is still in this rock here. Here is its eye. It has this great bony frill extending over its neck. In life, it was an immense creature, weighing perhaps 8 to 10 tons, 20 or 30 feet long. It was a vegetarian, champing up with powerful scissor-like jaws, the cycads that grew in this neighborhood. And this head alone weighed about 2 tons. The bony frill, while doubtless it served to protect the neck, also carried a great band of muscles here, helping to manipulate and move this heavy head. Its brain was comparatively large. Indeed, it was one of the largest of all brains of dinosaurs, weighing about 2 pounds. But that didn't save it. This beast was one of the last of its kind. On a geological timescale, the disappearance of the dinosaurs was extraordinarily abrupt, and it's marked in the most dramatic way in these cliffs. Among the yellow and red sandstones and clays, there is this thin layer of coal along which I'm walking. Its black line rules an end to the reign of the dinosaurs. This is the leg bone of a young Tyrannosaurus, and it has bands in it. The inner section, formed when the animal was young, has an open structure like the bone of a fast-growing, warm-blooded mammal. The outer part is more dense, more like that of today's reptiles. But whether dinosaurs were really, truly warm-blooded, we may never know. Here on the forest floor, there are lots of leaves. They may be a bit twiggy and coarse, but they're food nonetheless. What could have browsed on these? Well, not far from here, bones like this have been dug up. It's obviously a leg bone, and at first sight you might think it was the leg bone of a mammal, say perhaps a cow. But when you look at it closely, you can see it's got a honeycomb structure. This is a very lightweight bone. It's a bird bone, but the bone of a very big bird indeed, as we know from the rest of its skeleton. It had just 3 toes. Its pelvis and its spine lead up to an extraordinarily long neck. This bird stood over 6 feet, 2 meters tall.
The first human settlers on these islands saw these giants alive and called them moas.
Down in Texas, the muds of an ancient estuary, now turned to rock and forming the bed of a river, preserve a vivid record of these creatures. This is the footprint of a flesh-eating dinosaur, a hunter, with huge talons on its 2 feet. It stood on its 2 feet, upright, about 10 or 12 feet tall, with its tail on the ground, which here has ploughed into the mud, throwing up this great furrow. Here are 2 more of them. From their depth, we can get an idea of the animal's great weight. The line of tracks continues across the rock of the riverbed. And a little further down the river are the tracks of the reptile it may well have been stalking, one of those huge vegetarians with footprints a yard across.